Did you know the oldest human remains were found in Africa, writing the story of our origins? For centuries, Africa has been portrayed as a continent without history, a blank slate waiting for outside influence. But this is a profound distortion of reality. Africa is not just the cradle of humankind, it is also the birthplace of complex societies, rich cultural traditions, and enduring empires. Let's embark on a journey to uncover Africa's true historical scene, a story far more nuanced and captivating than commonly understood. Our journey begins deep in time, in Djebel Irhoud, Morocco, where fossils dating back 315,000 years have been unearthed, pushing back the timeline of Homo sapiens and solidifying Africa's place as the origin of our species. Even earlier, in Chad, the discovery of Sahelanthropus canadensis, a hominin fossil roughly 7.2 million years old, provides another glimpse into the continent's ancient past. These findings are not isolated incidents, they are part of a growing body of evidence that underscores Africa's central role in the human story. Long before the pyramids of Egypt, communities across Africa were developing sophisticated ways of life. In the Sahara region and southern Africa, rock art and evidence of domesticated animals date back to around 7000 BC, revealing early forms of social organization and resource management. These early settlements demonstrate that Africans were not simply passive inhabitants of the land but active agents in shaping their environment. By 3100 BC, Egypt had unified as a kingdom, becoming one of the world's earliest nation-states. But Egypt was not alone. Further south, in present-day Sudan, the Nubian kingdom of Kama emerged around 2500 BC. Kama was not a peripheral society, but a major trade power for nearly 1,000 years, connecting Central Africa and Egypt through vital trade networks. Imagine caravans laden with gold, ivory, and exotic goods traversing the deserts, linking distant communities and fueling the growth of powerful kingdoms. To the east, in present-day Ethiopia and Eritrea, the Aksum Empire flourished from the 1st century CE into the 11th century. Aksum's embrace of Christianity made it one of the earliest Christian states in Africa, a testament to the continent's diverse religious landscape long before European colonialism. Monasteries produced illuminated manuscripts in Guizi, preserving knowledge and culture for generations. As the centuries unfolded, trans-Saharan trade intensified, driven by the exchange of goods and ideas across the vast desert. By the 9th century, this trade had spurred the rise of large state societies in the western Sudan, including the Ghana Empire. Islam arrived through these trade routes as well, further enriching the cultural and religious landscape of the region. The Mali Empire, which thrived from the 13th to 16th centuries, stands as a monumental example of African ingenuity and prosperity. Timbuktu, its fabled capital, became a center of learning and commerce, attracting scholars and merchants from across the world. The empire's wealth, derived from the gold trade, allowed it to support a vibrant intellectual and cultural life. But Africa's story is not just one of internal development, it is also a story of interaction with the wider world. Around 1450, the Portuguese began trading with cities on the western coast of Africa, followed later by the Dutch and English. This marked the beginning of a period of increasing European involvement in Africa, with devastating consequences for the continent. The transatlantic slave trade, fueled by European demand for labor in the Americas, tore apart communities and left a lasting scar on African societies. The 19th century witnessed the scramble for Africa, a period of intense colonial competition among European powers. The Berlin Conference of 1884-1885 formalized this partition, dividing the continent with little regard for existing political and social structures. Borders were drawn arbitrarily, ethnic groups were split apart, and traditional systems of governance were undermined. The impact of colonialism was profound and multifaceted. African economies were reoriented to serve European interests, natural resources were plundered, and local industries were suppressed. Colonial administrations imposed their own systems of law, education, and governance, often suppressing indigenous cultures and languages. Yet, even in the face of colonial oppression, Africans resisted. From armed uprisings to peaceful protests, resistance movements emerged across the continent, fighting for self-determination and independence. The mid-20th century saw a wave of independence movements sweep across Africa, fueled by a growing sense of nationalism and a desire for self-governance. By the late 1960s, many African states had won independence, marking a turning point in the continent's history. Independence, however, did not erase the legacy of colonialism. The borders drawn during the colonial era continue to shape the political map of Africa today, often leading to conflict and instability. The economic structures put in place by colonial powers continue to disadvantage many African countries. And the psychological impact of colonialism continues to be felt in many African societies. Today, Africa is a continent of immense diversity and potential. It is home to some of the world's fastest-growing economies and a vibrant young population. But Africa also faces significant challenges, including poverty, inequality, and political instability. As we look to the future, it is essential to understand Africa's past, to acknowledge the injustices of colonialism, and to celebrate the resilience and ingenuity of African people. It's also crucial to remember that African history was not solely an oral one. Visual, written, and performance traditions kept memory alive, with professional historians serving as custodians. From illuminated manuscripts in Christian Ethiopia to royal records written in Arabic script in Madagascar, Africans documented their own stories. African history is dynamic, diverse, and deeply intertwined with the history of the world. By embracing a more nuanced and accurate understanding of Africa's past, we can build a more just and equitable future for all. What part of African history do you want to learn more about?